Once upon a time, in the heart of an African kingdom, there lived a princess named Calara. She was known far and wide for her beauty, grace, and intelligence. Every villager would stop in their tracks just to catch a glimpse of her, for she was said to be the pride of her kingdom. But little did anyone know, something strange was about to happen that would change her life forever. One day, as Calara was returning to the royal palace after a long walk through the kingdom, she was struck by a strange, overwhelming hunger. This was no ordinary hunger. It was an uncontrollable craving for food, something she had never experienced before. Calara rushed to the royal kitchen, where the chefs prepared a feast to satisfy her unusual hunger. She ate like never before, plate after plate, but no matter how much food she consumed, her hunger grew stronger. Days passed, and Calara's hunger only worsened. The more she ate, the more her body began to change. Slowly, her slim figure began to grow heavier, but there was no explanation. It was as if her body was betraying her. Soon, rumors spread throughout the palace. The once beloved princess was becoming unrecognizable. The servants whispered that perhaps she was being punished by the gods, but no one dared to say it aloud. Calara, however, refused to believe this. She vowed to find a solution. Calara could no longer face her reflection. She sought help from the palace healers and herbalists, but no one could explain what was happening to her. Each day she grew larger, and with each passing day, her hope faded. The more Calara ate, the more she transformed. She had now grown so large that she could no longer leave her chambers. Yet even in her isolation, her mind raced with thoughts. Why was this happening? Who could help her? And was there a way to stop it before it was too late? As the days turned into weeks, Calara realized there was something much deeper at play. It wasn't just her body that was changing. Something was happening to her kingdom as well. Strange things were being whispered in the wind, and Calara knew she needed answers. But would she find them before her transformation was complete? And what would she become in the end? Desperate for answers, Calara sent word to the only person she trusted outside the palace, the wise elder, Duma. He was known for his knowledge of ancient lore and the hidden truths of the kingdom. In the dead of night, they met in secret, but Duma's face showed signs of unease, as though he knew something he dared not say aloud. Duma spoke in riddles, his voice low and urgent. "The answers you seek, princess, are buried deep within your lineage. There are things that have been hidden from you, things that not even the king knows. But be warned, the path to the truth is fraught with danger. Someone close to you holds the key." His words sent a shiver down Calara's spine. What had her family been hiding, and who could she trust? Back in the palace, Calara noticed strange behavior from her stepmother, Queen Amara. The queen, who had always been distant, was now keeping a closer eye on her, almost as if she knew something about Calara's condition. Was she the one Duma had warned her about? Calara's mind raced with questions. Determined not to become a pawn in someone else's game, Calara decided to investigate her stepmother's strange behavior. Late one night, she followed Queen Amara into the secret passages of the palace, where no one but the royal family was allowed to enter. What she discovered there would change everything. Calara crept closer, her heart racing. She pressed her ear against the door and heard voices, her stepmother's along with someone else's. She couldn't make out the words, but the tone was menacing. Summoning all her courage, Calara decided to enter the hidden chamber. As Calara entered the room, she froze. The figure in the shadows turned out to be none other than the palace advisor, a man she had trusted her entire life. "The time is near," he whispered to the queen. "She cannot be allowed to discover the truth." Calara's heart pounded in her chest. What truth were they hiding from her? Unable to stay silent any longer, Calara stepped into the light, demanding answers. Queen Amara turned slowly, her face a mask of calm cruelty. "Ah, my dear stepdaughter," she said, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "I see you finally decided to join us, but you're too late. What's done cannot be undone." Just as Calara prepared to demand the truth, a deafening crash echoed through the palace. The ground beneath them shook, and distant screams filled the air. Queen Amara's smile faded as she turned toward the door in shock. Something had happened outside, but what? The answer would have to wait. Calara's transformation was no longer the only mystery at hand. As the palace trembled with the sound of distant screams, Calara followed Queen Amara and the advisor outside. What greeted them was sheer chaos. The palace courtyard was engulfed in flames, and the guards were scrambling to contain the damage. But it wasn't just fire that caused the panic. Standing in the center of the courtyard was a giant wild boar thrashing about wildly. Its size was monstrous, towering over everything and everyone, its eyes filled with rage. It looked strangely familiar to Calara, almost like a reflection of her own transformation. Queen Amara's face turned pale as she realized the creature's identity. "It's him," she whispered. Calara's heart raced. "Who is it?" she demanded, stepping forward. The advisor, his face now twisted with dark amusement, finally revealed the truth. "That beast, princess, is your father." The shock was like a punch to Calara's chest. "Your father was turned into that creature long before you were born, hidden away to protect the throne, and now it seems his fate has come for you as well." Calara's mind raced with the revelation. Her father, a king she had barely known, was condemned to a life of suffering as a wild creature, and now she too was being pulled into the same fate. But something inside her refused to accept it. Her transformation, her suffering, it wasn't her destiny. Calara turned to face Queen Amara, her voice strong. "This ends now. I will not live my life as a monster." Queen Amara lowered her head, the weight of her guilt finally breaking through her icy exterior. "Your father's transformation. It was my doing," she admitted, her voice trembling. "I was desperate to keep power, to secure the throne for myself, but I never imagined it would lead to this." Calara's eyes softened, but she didn't back down. "You've destroyed our family with your greed, and now you must help fix it." The advisor, sensing his hold over the royal family slipping, stepped forward, his voice cold. "You think you can undo what's already been done? You are as foolish as your father." His eyes gleamed with malice as he raised his hands, summoning the guards to restrain Calara. But this time, Calara was ready. Summoning all her strength, Calara pushed back against the guards, her transformation giving her unexpected power. She knocked them aside effortlessly, her heart pounding with determination. The advisor's smirk faded as he realized Calara was no longer the scared princess he had tried to manipulate. With the guards dealt with, Calara turned her attention to the giant boar in the courtyard. "Father," she whispered, her voice filled with sadness. The creature stopped thrashing for a moment, its wild eyes locking onto hers. There was something human in its gaze, something that reminded her of the man she barely remembered. "I will free you from this," she vowed. Calara reached out, her heart heavy with the weight of her promise. As she touched the creature's bristled hide, a deep rumble came from the boar's chest. It was not a sound of anger, but one of pain, of years spent trapped in a form not his own. Calara's eyes filled with tears. She knew what had to be done. Before Calara could act, the advisor lunged toward her, his eyes wild with desperation. "You cannot save him," he screamed, but Calara was faster. With one swift motion, she knocked the advisor to the ground, her newfound strength overpowering him completely. "This ends now," she declared, her voice echoing through the courtyard. As dawn broke over the palace, the flames died down and the chaos settled. Calara, standing tall despite her larger form, realized that true strength came not from physical appearance but from within. Her father had been transformed, not because of any curse or magic, but because of greed and the lust for power that had consumed the royal family. In that moment, Calara made a vow to rule with compassion and justice, and to never let the same fate befall her kingdom again. Hope you liked this story. Subscribe if you find the story interesting.